The Violent Genius of Caravaggio. YouTube podcast narration, cinematic short documentary. In the streets of Rome, at the turn of the 17th century, art and violence lived side by side. Candles flickered in dark alleyways. Steel flashed in sudden fights. And somewhere between sacred churches and criminal streets, a man painted saints like they were pulled out of the shadows of real life. His name was Caravaggio, and his life was as dramatic as his paintings. Today, Caravaggio is remembered as one of the greatest painters in history. A master of light and darkness, a revolutionary who changed how the world saw religious art, but in his own time, he was also known for something else. Fighting, arguing, drinking, running from the law, because Caravaggio did not live like a traditional artist. He lived like a man constantly on the edge of chaos. Born in 1571 in Italy, Caravaggio entered the art world with extraordinary talent. But he had no interest in ideal beauty or perfect forms. While other painters softened reality, Caravaggio sharpened it. He painted people with dirty feet, wrinkled faces, rough hands. He pulled saints out of heaven and placed them into the streets of Rome. And that shocked everyone. One of the most radical things Caravaggio did was his use of light. He didn't paint gentle brightness. He painted violent contrast, light that cuts through darkness like truth cutting through illusion. This style would later be called chiaroscuro, but to viewers at the time, it felt unsettling. Because his paintings didn't feel like visions of heaven. They felt like moments caught in a real, living world. But Caravaggio's art was only half of his story. The other half was chaos. Court records show multiple arrests, fights in taverns, street violence, and constant conflict with authority. He was not just an artist observing violence. He was part of it. In 1606, everything collapsed. Caravaggio was involved in a violent fight that resulted in a man's death. He became a fugitive, forced to flee Rome with a price on his head. From that moment on, he lived in exile, moving from city to city. Naples, Malta, Sicily, always painting, always running. And yet, even in exile, his work became more powerful. His paintings grew darker, more emotional, more spiritual. It was as if violence and fear had sharpened his vision instead of destroying it. He painted scenes of suffering saints, broken bodies, moments of divine revelation emerging from darkness. But Caravaggio's life never stabilized. He was arrested again, imprisoned, released, then involved in more conflict. It seemed as though peace was something he could never hold onto for long. In 1610, while trying to return to Rome after receiving a possible pardon, Caravaggio died under mysterious circumstances. He was only 38 years old. No one knows exactly how he died: illness, exhaustion, or something more violent, but what remains certain is this: he never stopped painting, even at the edge of collapse. And this is what makes Caravaggio unforgettable. He did not separate life from art. He merged them. His paintings are not distant religious images. They are emotional events, moments of tension, light breaking into darkness, truth emerging from chaos. And perhaps that is why his work still feels alive today. Because Caravaggio did not paint perfection. He painted reality. And reality is not gentle. It is dramatic, unstable, human. So when we look at his paintings today, we are not just seeing religious history. We are seeing the mind of a man who lived too intensely, and painted as if every moment might be his last. Caravaggio's legacy is not just beauty. It is contradiction. Sacred art created by a violent man. Divine imagery born from a chaotic life. Light pulled out of darkness by someone who never escaped it. And maybe that is the final truth of his story. That sometimes, the most powerful beauty comes from the most unstable souls.